In this video, we're going to wire up our AC disconnect and the AC side of our inverter. First thing to do is run our conduit from each box. We have our conduit right here, and I already have my wire, so I'm going to mount this, and then you follow me as we'll land each of these wires in their appropriate location. So we have our conduit run, and now we're going to land our wires in both boxes. So first one to look at is our ground, and we have a ground bar in here that has been mounted. Again, this ground bar is bringing the equipment ground from the inverter, which is the chassis as well, and also grounding this enclosure. Okay. My white wire, in this case is my AC wire, this is my neutral or my grounded conductor. It does not pass through the switch. So there is actually a little bus bar here, similar to the one we had in the DC box, except this one's actually mounted already in our panel, or in our switch. So that's what I'm doing right now. And our red and black are two HOTS, or ungrounded current carrying conductors. And the inverter is again wired to the bottom of the switch. Very, very important. The inverter is wired to the bottom of the AC switch, and help you remember that, the DC switch is also wired the same way. The inverter always goes in the bottom. So I've got my ground, my neutral, leg 1, leg 2, the inverter coming in the bottom, and the grid is coming from the top, and that goes out to our meter and to our backfed breaker. So into our inverter, we have our specified DC ground point. And our our neutral or grounded conductor is going to go on our spot marked neutral. A lot of our inverters are coming from Europe, and over there they color neutral blue, which can be confusing. But there's a little N next to it to help keep you clear. If you're unclear, just look at the manual. It should spell it out much more clearly. But again, the lesson is blue is typically neutral in Europe, and that's where these inverters are made. A lot of them. This one is from Austria. So we've landed all of our wires on our AC side, AC output of our inverter. We have our L1, L2, neutral, and ground all in the right position. They leave here, enter our AC disconnect. Our inverter output wires are again hitting the bottom of our breaker, bottom of our switch. Neutral or white, our white grounded current carrying conductor just passes through, and our grid comes in on the top, and everything is grounded, and this looks okay. In summary, we've wired up the DC disconnect, the DC input to the inverter, the AC output of the inverter, and the AC disconnect from the inverter. So the next thing to do is connect our power sources and check to make sure our voltage is correct and any of our polarity from our array is correct as well.